What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. Now, I know we have been hearing here in the last year about blacks being Jews, being the children of Israel, being part of the Bantu tribes. And I want to share this video with you all because the conversations back in 1957 is when we're hearing this discussion about prejudice, but unbeknownst to themselves, they didn't know they were releasing information for people to this day and who was calling themselves the children of Israel, as well as the locations of these Bantu people and where they exist. Check this video out and I'll be back.
Well, as I told you before, we have also our own prejudices against the African Negroes. We consider them as inferiors. We have, of course, our own reasons for saying so.
Well, what are they, Miss?
Well, first thing, we consider ourselves to be of the lost tribe of Israel. We consider ourselves to be of the lost tribe of Israel. We consider ourselves to be of the lost tribe of Israel. We've been ruling part of Africa for hundreds of years. During the 16th century, and we ruled part of Egypt, Sudan, and as far down as Mozambique.
Well, what about your prejudices against white men?
Well, back home, if a woman marries a white man, she's considered mean, and when she dies, the priests never pray for her as they would do for any ordinary man. It's just considered as suicide.
Why do you think they look down on the white people so much?
Well, for the first reason, religiously they consider them unclean in heart, unclean in heart, unclean in heart, because they eat pork, and that's prohibited in religion.
The Bantu, as they are now known, Bantu, as they are now known, Bantu, as they are now known, the Negroes in South Africa, were still coming down from equatorial Africa, migrating. Were still coming down from equatorial Africa, migrating. Were still coming down from equatorial Africa, migrating. And it's a fact that they had not yet entered what is now known as South Africa, the borders of South Africa. The only indigenous occupants in Africa, South Africa at that time, were the Bushmen. A fact that the whites went into the interior of Africa and didn't come into contact never even saw a Bantu until 1795, which the Zulus had by that time, the Zulus are a part of the Bantu group. Zulus are a part of the Bantu group. Zulus are a part of the Bantu group, had already come down to Natal. And then you've got the two groups, the one coming from the north, the one coming from the south, and they met.
And Boniface, just to make things more complicated for you and Susan, I've heard a third interpretation of this, which might settle it. That was the fact that the Bantu were a migratory people. The Bantu were a migratory people. The Bantu were a migratory people.
On this oppression business, if you say the Bantu in South Africa oppressed, how do you account for this fact? That every year, regularly, hundreds of thousands of Bantu and Negroes from other territories adjoining South Africa, such as Portuguese, East Africa, etc., are invading our country.
And that it may be true that at some point when the whites came in, there weren't any Bantus there because they were migrating somewhere else, migrating somewhere else, migrating somewhere else.
What do you think? Now, I know many people cannot relate to this whole topic, but I have been hammering this point while I'm here in Africa. I've been to 33 African countries, and I've had many of interviews of so many Africans who know they belong to specific tribes of Israel. It's just that we, who are part of the tribe of Judah, who have been scattered over to America, don't know that. Now, you might say, well, what does it all mean? Who cares? I'm telling you all. I had to come to awakening about 18 years ago, until when I was shown in the spirit, you're not a black man. You are my child that I chose. In this family, you see even the Ethiopian who says that he looks at an African as inferior. Now, he doesn't mean that in a white prejudice way. He means it in a way that we are a people that are set apart from others. When he said that they look at the white man as unclean because they eat pork, and there's other things would make them unclean. But yes, there is nothing saying that if we are the chosen ones, supposed to be the example of the world, we're supposed to be the one who set the standard, the one who are walking on commandments, who are overcoming these worldly, sinister ways of living, then there should be a sense of feeling that we are in a supreme being of life. Not saying you're going to look down on somebody or you're going to, be biased or prejudiced against anybody. No. Until we wake up and realize who we really are, we will continue to follow the world. This is why we are caught into the ways of the world. Our children are going astray. Mom and dads are non-existent. Drug is infesting the communities. Prostitution. Pornographies. All of these have overtaken not just the world, but the chosen ones to be the leaders of the world. That's what the chosen mean. God select people, the elect ones, to be the image on earth and have others to follow. This was nothing more than the message that Christ was saying. I come to seek out the lost sheep so that then I can rise them up. I can't go after nobody else. First, I must go to those ones who are lost, because these are the ones who were put in a position to be able to be the example for the rest of the world. And those who believe and follow such an act can be saved from this world and your own stinking thinking. But the other thing that they discussed was the Bantu tribes. More and more evidence by even these European explorers and these writers and these historians have come into Africa and saw a strong relation in a Jewish, if you will, I say a, Jew, if you will, way of living. The way they prayed, the way they ate. It was their dietary that there was some sticking to. Their acknowledgement and honoring a Sabbath day, how they were circumcising their children, how they were recognizing other festive days. They saw that these Bantu tribes had so much similarities scattered in Africa that here it is, these youth are telling us their history and what they were taught. That the white man, what the young girl said, that the white men went into the interiors of Africa and saw the Bantu people. You have to understand, the Bantu are different tribes of people than the other African tribes. There are thousands of African tribes, but you find there are a group called the Bantus who there is a connection in how they have their life. This is what this whole thing is about. And until we can embrace that, you'll be chasing down European ways of life. You're going to want to talk like, look like, behave like, and be in destruction like a European. It's time for us to rise up. Get out of these mindsets of religions and allow them to freely be in their own religions. Christianity is a European concept. Islam is an Arab concept. And I don't hate on them, but what I find is that when we are following that, we suffer 10 times more than we follow the Most High in a spiritual God that we will recognize and we will honor and we will have an esteem for. We suffer when we follow these other religions. So anyway, family, this is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside.